Good morning, everyone. We're not sure if the picture's showing here. No, I'm going to hold on 1 second. Sorry for the confusion for 1 second.
That's her confused. And
no, yeah, well, it's okay. Good morning. Oh, there we are. All right. So the little bit of the issue is that on YouTube, when you hit start, it usually shows us, and it's not showing us, as you see. So I wasn't sure if we were live, but we are live. Good morning, because I see us in the online community. Let's see if we could see Jodi.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm on the screen.
You are on the screen.
Okay.
Here we go. Good morning, everybody. I'm Laurie Baracco.
And I'm Jodi Lemire.
And as you see that we're in a different room, we're in my room at the Mystical Moon in Bonita Springs. And this is the Empower Hour. And it's so good to see so many of you here in the online community, as well as on YouTube for this week's Empower Hour. So how are you doing this week?
Doing good.
Good. Good. A lot for the last couple
so much
weeks.
been going on.
A lot been going on. The week before last, we weren't able to be live, to air live. The last week, it was Jodi. Jodi was solo, and this week we're back together here. And yes, there's been so much that's been happening. We have had the Caro Elder Shamans here at the center in Bonita. And last night they held a despacho ceremony. There were 26 of us in the space. It was nice and cozy back here, and we made all the chairs fit, and what amazing energy. And today you can bet your bottom dollar that the energy is going to be really high here in the store, because they both have healings all day, and Carrie will be doing healings. We've got readings with Jodi and readings with Belinda. So it's going to be buzzing this morning. So if you were interested in a private session with the elders, I believe there's one left tomorrow at 5 o'clock with Danya Wana. It's not Donna. I was saying it wrong. I was corrected last night by someone who was Spanish.
Okay.
And she said it's Danya.
Danya.
Got it.
And
actually she said Juana.
Juana. Yes.
Yes. And actually, I hear the phone ringing.
I know the phone's been ringing off the hook, and it's 8:30 when we get here. So
yes.
All right.
So that's what's been going on. We also have Psychic Fair this Saturday in the Bonita Springs location, and Mary Rose is going to be reading at the fair. She doesn't usually read at the fair. Yeah. She's filling in, as well as you're going to be here at the fair as well. And we have Mary Alice, and we have Belinda, and we have Cynthia, who's available for private sessions. And then also Thursday night in the Fort Myers location, Anne is going to be hosting her Embrace and Grow Your Spirit. She's going to be talking about the heart Thursday night at the Fort Myers store. And Thursday is also my daughter Nicole's birthday.
Yes.
She'll be 21. She's excited, I think.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure. I think she's excited. She's been working really hard.
She was my kid's age when I met her.
I know she is. She's excited, but there's a lot going to school. She's working so hard with school, and then she works here part-time as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what else is going on?
So I also have in the notes too that for those of you who have been tuning in for Jodi's crystal readings, they're now again I'll mention Thursday morning at 9 a.m. here in the online community, and then also Monday at 12 noon, Susan Dentino will be hosting her Moon Magic here in the online community as well. Did I miss anything? Ray Setti.
Ray. Oh my gosh, we are in almost to April.
Yes. So Ray Setti will be here offering private sessions at the Mystical Moon. And if you are not in the area, his schedule is open with the new online system for those dates, for sure, from April 20th to May 2nd. So you can book online too. And he will also be available for phone sessions then too. I have to say, I'm loving this new scheduling system that we have.
It seems to be working very smoothly.
Oh, very smoothly, and it's very user-friendly. It's much more user-friendly. So as I mentioned to Jodi, usually I wake up in the morning and a whole bunch of people schedule overnight. So it's, as I said, more user-friendly.
Yes.
And so good morning. So many of you have tuned in this morning. It's so good to see everyone today, as well as in the Google Hangout. We have quite a few people there as well. And if you would like to join us in the live chat, feel free to go to themysticalmoon.ning, N-A-N-G.com to join us. Any other thoughts? Is that kind of most of the housekeeping?
I think so.
And today we will be
cutting it a little short.
Yep, at 9:45 because we have a full day of sessions here, and I want to make sure that everybody's all set up and good to go.
They start at 10 this morning, so we really gotta scoot our boots.
Just make sure all is good. And they are such beautiful people, I have to say. So humble, so loving, so I don't know, just so full of light and love.
Yeah. Yes, they're in balance with their inner child, as Carrie said. Inner children. So they just live very in the present, moment to moment, and just it brings them a lot of joy when they live completely authentically like that.
And everything
and
is
in harmony.
And everything is sacred, and they pray all day long. They pray for food. They have gratitude for everything. So it's a really beautiful beautiful way of living, which it kind of brings us to all the things that we take for granted for ourselves here, you know? Like they have electricity and they're
well, it's like Carrie was saying, there's 500 people in their village, and like that's how many people were in my high school. And I went to a small high school because most classes now in a high school are 500 people. So if you just think about it in that perspective,
that's right.
Like, yeah.
Oh yes,
that's tiny. Everybody knows everybody. Period.
That's right. All right, so good morning, everybody. Look, even more people are joining us. It's so good to see all of you. So this week's subject has to do with those who are wanting to possibly use their intuitive gifts for sharing their wisdom with others, to help others along their path. And this is something that it is a passion of mine to help guide people with their path, because I'm not going to tell you need to do this, you should do that. But from my own experience, I have learned quite a bit. Some great things, some not so great things, but from those not so great things, I've learned quite a bit. As well as I've worked with so many different people, and I've learned from them too, with their craft and how they use their gifts to help facilitate healing for others, to hold a space for others, and to be that channel of wisdom, light, and guidance, and how they live their lives with integrity and authenticity. And yes, I have seen the opposite of that too, and I have seen what can happen when you are not doing your own work, when you're doing this work out of the negative ego. And that is usually what bites you in the hiney, is that negative ego. When you are not in balance and you're not checking in with yourself and you're not looking at the motivation behind everything that you're doing with this. So there has been a plethora of people coming through the door who are saying, I know I'm intuitive. I've been practicing and playing around with my cards or doing readings for friends, but I don't get paid for it. And I'm kind of feeling like I think that the next step is for me to share this with other people, because I know I have a gift. And so they're wanting to kind of pull that together, and I've had quite a few people asking and requesting, like, where do I go, mentor, what do I do? And there are many different paths you can go down with that. So we'll talk maybe a little bit about that as well.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No. Yeah, that sounds good.
So with I'm going to go through my notes a little bit. So it does seem like a lot more people over the years. I've seen, it comes in waves too. I've seen like it seems like that's the theme for a while. So then we might schedule some classes to kind of help people with that. And then it quiets down a little bit. And then there's now another huge push. And it could have to do with what's going on in the world, with people looking for alternative methods of working through their problems and their issues.
Well, and I think also the veils are getting thinner. So a lot more people are more easily awakening to their gifts and starting to notice, like, all of this thing is not such a far off, distant thing. Like, it wasn't like only certain people had these gifts. They're really starting to see, like, oh, I can resonate with that, and tapping into their own, being an empath is probably one of the most common ways that people are learning how to identify with that of being a spiritual being. Because those are things that I think that a lot of people can relate. The ones that used to isolate all the time, and they're like, oh, wait, there's a reason that I isolate and I go into nature and I feel better there, and I feel, so those are the types of things that I think are coming up, which it opens the doorway. And then the influx comes in. So I think that we're going to keep seeing this more and more rapidly.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. All right. So we'll start going through the tips that I have written down. And I did add number 6 afterwards because it started with 5. And you know what? There probably is like 100. But
yeah.
We're going to start at a smaller scale. And feel free to, just for today. Who knows what will happen in the future.
Right.
But feel free to type in your questions and or comments about possibly the subject, right, of what's going on. Later on, we'll have a shorter question answer period. Okay. So, and everybody's saying good morning. That's so nice. All right. So the first one, you want to go back and forth? We'll do that. We'll alternate.
Sure.
Okay. The first one, practice makes perfect. So the more you work with others, the more confident you will become with how the information comes to you, as well as deciphering your own psychic language. When I first started out, I practiced on friends and family, and then I practiced in apprentice psychic fairs. I went to classes where I was able to share my messages with others. And that really did help quite a bit. So the experience that you gain from practice is priceless. You'll find out which clients you would like to work with, as well as which environment you feel most comfortable in. It may be in an office, it may be over the phone, and or working in psychic fairs and expos. Practice and experience will help you find out your professional niche. And that is like the number one thing, is that people, I have seen people take tons and tons of classes. Like, I mean, a lot of classes, and they've invested so much money into these courses, and they've traveled all over the country, all over the world. And then when they came to interview, they had a really hard time because they didn't get into it. They didn't practice enough. And it takes a lot of practice for you to build your confidence, to trust that what's coming through is not you making it up, and you're learning more of how your intuition works. And again, you're going to learn which format you feel most comfortable with. There are some people who prefer just to do the phone, you know, because being in person, it may overwhelm them, or they don't have a place to read out of, and they don't want people coming to their home, and so on and so forth. There's some people who love fairs, psychic fairs and expos. There's some people that say, oh my gosh, that's just way too much energy and I can't even focus. There's just so much happening that it's pulling me out of my channel. So practice, practice, practice will help you perfect your gift, and it'll bring in the confidence that will help you build upon that. Anything you want to add to that?
What did I say? Just basically, you know, the possibilities are limitless, you know, so even though something works for you today, doesn't mean it's going to work like that consistently. It says stop broadcast. I have no idea. Nope.
Okay. Are we back now? I think we're back.
Hold
on.
We
are back.
Hey.
Yep. Fixed.
All right.
Woo! Yeah, I think I just saw me say, are we back? All right. If you can see us, type in yes quick, please.
Oh, they have to refresh their screen.
Yep. Refresh your screen. Oh yeah. There we go. No. Okay.
Oh, great. You can see.
All right. So you can see us. So go ahead and go back to. Okay, great. Woo! Just go with the flow, man. All right. Sorry.
So what I was saying, I think I was just saying, like, everything that you do is going to continue to expand. You'll find like, oh, well, that's something new. And that's, don't limit yourself by thinking you have to be perfect. Just know that the practice is going to give you more and more tools to add to your gift, your presentation. It's really going to give you that finished edge, I think, is what, you know, that professional, finished, rounded way of communicating with clients. Okay.
Where you're comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next one.
Okay, so don't compare yourself with other readers and healers. Everyone has psychic abilities. The way that we receive this information is different for each and every person. For some, they see pictures in movies, or others see auras, and for some, they may see those who have crossed over. Embrace your own unique gifts and run with them. Appreciating another's gifts without judging or doubting your own is a telltale sign that you are confident in your own abilities and that your negative ego is under control. By comparing yourself with another, you are setting yourself up for failure. You have your gifts and you've worked very hard on them. Now it's time to share them with the world.
And then there's something I see a lot of people that bring that up. Well, I want to see spirit like they do. I want to be able to talk to the other side. And it's very possible that that gift may come in the more you practice and embrace your gifts. And the more you practice, the more the other Claire's psychic abilities come online.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, mediumship, as far as like, I'm considered a medium in the sense that I can feel them come in. So like other mediums will consider me a medium. I don't say I'm a medium because I can't convey a message. I can only feel their presence. I will start to bawl like a baby. So like if I'm in a session with you and one of your loved one comes in, I start crying. And that's usually my validation that they've entered the room, but that's as far as I can take it. And I don't judge that. I think it's amazing that there's, you know, but we can't compare. And I don't try to, we'll get into this a little bit more with the next one when we talk about healthy boundaries. But you know, the important thing is keeping the integrity of the relationship with the client, is that there's enough to go around for everybody, and everybody has a unique gift to share with the clients. So there's no competition. I think that's one of the things that like all of us here have really tried to focus on and really work on within ourselves and with each other, and keep that communication and that dialogue open, that we are not in competition with one another. We are here in service for the client. And that's what, you know, when Laurie was writing this and she wrote about that, saying that your negative ego is in check. It's not about us, you know, and so knowing that, it's like, who am I going to be? One of the things I wanted to expand on later, it's just basically like, you know, we ask spirit, like, send us the clients that I can best serve, you know, with my gifts. It doesn't have to be like, send me all the clients in the world.
Because you can never see all the people. That is impossible to be able to.
Right.
The demand is so great for guidance and healing. And there are, you know, another one that we'll touch base upon is you're not supposed to read everybody. You know, and there's some people that you'll struggle reading because you're not supposed to, or because they're to receive their guidance from someone else. So embrace your gifts, fine tune them, and go share them with the world. Not everybody can do everything, and not everybody should. Right? So there are things, you know, I'll give you a different example, right? Some people can sing really well. I am not a professional singer. I love to sing, but it's for my own personal use, and I have no business being out there in front of a crowd who's expecting someone who has a lovely voice and who's paying for it, right? So just as with your, if you have a client in front of you who wanted, say, mediumship, and you know that receiving names or whatever doesn't come through very clearly for you, then you really are doing a disservice to them. And then that ego is out of balance. That negative ego is out of balance. And in a way, it may leave them disappointed and you disappointed, discouraged
as well. Yep. You'll find that you'll walk away discouraged, because you're going to see, if we're all psychic, we're going to see that we're going to feel the person's disappointment in front of us.
Totally.
So
and they may say, you're
there?
missing. And a lot of times they'll say, you're wrong. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
That's not them.
Yeah.
They'll tell you a lot of times.
So we'll get into that. All right. So keeping healthy boundary with clients.
Yep, this is a huge challenge for most professionals, and it is the area where if you don't keep healthy boundaries with clients, it will get you into trouble. What do I mean by trouble? You may get phone calls at all hours. You may become emotionally courted, and you may take on their energy, or you may be taken advantage of financially. These are a few things that can happen when we do not set parameters with clients. I keep a professional relationship with my clients and have a strict policy that we do not have an outside relationship outside of the office. We do not answer emails or phone calls outside of business hours. And these are just some of the examples and suggestions that may help you as an individual. I strongly also suggest keeping doctor-patient confidentiality and professionalism with all your clients. So what does that mean? It means that I wouldn't want my doctor to tell me everything about their life. I want you to get done what needs to get done, and that's all. We're going to keep that type of relationship. And this is an area that I see a lot of people struggle with, because you may feel that if you don't give that person what they want, that they won't come back to you. And if they don't, then that's possibly not the type of client that I want, that's going to maybe take advantage of me. And what do I mean financial? I mean that they may say, hey, can you just check on this? They may email you, can you look at this? And they're asking for freebies all the time. And that is something that it doesn't happen as much anymore, but it used to happen at the front desk. Can you, oh, hey, Laurie, it's you. Can you answer this quick question? And I tell them no. And there's another thing that I do say is that if you make friends, become really close with your clients, then you just lost a client.
Yeah.
Because the relationship has changed.
Yeah.
It's just better over the years, and with thousands of people that we've seen here, and myself as well, it's healthier to keep that distance. Now, have there been a few clients that have become friends? Yes. But I don't read them anymore.
Yeah.
I don't read them anymore.
Like me.
Right, so, I don't read them anymore.
I mean, we worked together, so it was a little bit different, but still, I would go to Laurie for services, and now I don't. And it has nothing to do with it. I don't think she's amazing. It has everything to do with, that's just not our relationship anymore. And even when we call each other for normal friendship support. We don't say like, will you pull a few cards for me on this? Or like that, that doesn't even happen in our relationship. So, because we do respect that healthy boundary for the other one, it's work, you know, and we can just have the conversation. I think, yeah, you know, I think that I wanted to point out that healthy boundaries is not to be confused with not being kind. And there is a way to do it kind and professional and respectful, and not think, well, I mean, I don't want to be mean and like ignore their email, or I don't want to be, you know, and that's especially in the beginning, when you go from that crossover where you're so used to reading for friends and family and getting that practice in for non-paying sources. It's kind of a hard bridge to make the switch. And it's funny because you will see that the friends that are the closest with you are the ones who want to support you, and they will kind of help you cross that bridge. Like, no, I'm going to come in and have a reading from you at the store, or, you know, things like that. What was I? Yeah, you know, the thing of this is that all of this takes energy. All of it takes energy. And if you're using up all of your energy helping everybody, you know, all of us that go into this field, we want to help. We love helping, and we will help until we bleed, you know, I mean, and that's where we're going to get into the next, taking care of yourself. But, you know, you have to draw the line somewhere and make sure that when you're getting to the point where you are full-time helping people, is it that you're being taken advantage of, or is it time for you to step into this in a more professional path with an established? Yeah,
and it also is about, if you are being pulled at from all different directions, you are going to spiral.
Yeah.
You don't have control over this.
Yeah.
And it's coming at you from all areas. And I've had this happen to me. When I first started out, I was like a machine, and I remember I was booked all day long. I would do, gosh, like 50 readings a week. And there was no end in that site. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I got to keep going. I would get burnt out. I would get sick and didn't have healthy boundaries. And then there were people who would call me or email me. And then I had no control of what was happening. And that's not a good feeling, because then you start resenting and you're moving away from your passion of what you're doing and why you're doing it.
There has to be that equal exchange of energy. I think it's so important to make sure that you are keeping that in balance for everybody. Because like Laurie said, she brought up that word resentment. Once that equal exchange of energy is getting, really off balance, somebody starts getting resentful. And I've lost friends over that, alone, let alone doing it in a professional sense, then you're going to piss off the wrong client. They might start bad mouthing. It could just be a disaster, but not really a disaster. Everything always works out.
It does, but it can be exhausting because you're really wanting to help
added extra drama. Yeah. So, and really all you want to do is help. So,
number 4.
All right. Oh, am I reading it? I'm reading it. There are some clients you may not be able to read. So, okay, so this is a challenging one that many
you had a hard time reading that.
I had a hard time reading that. This is a challenging one that many struggle with and do not realize that all people are able to be read by you or anyone. There are many reasons for this, such as you aren't able to make a connection with them. You may be tired. They may be tired. It's not for their highest and best good for you to read them, and or your guides may be protecting you from their energy. So if within the first 5 minutes of a session, you're unable to make that connection, it's always best to just end the session. Many people do not realize this or know this, but it is more harmful to keep going when the energy and the information isn't flowing.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. One of the dangers is that you may begin to doubt yourself because you're unable to make the connection. And then there are situations when you're just not supposed to read the person, and it's totally okay. If you end a session within the first 5 minutes, do not charge the person and either schedule a future session or refer them to someone else. So we've all done this.
Yeah, there's just some people that may be a better energetic match for somebody else. Doesn't make it bad, doesn't make it wrong, but within the first 5 minutes if you make that connection. And this is something that I've said this over and over, that as a client, if that reader's making a connection, and if they're not, then you have every right to end that session. I feel like we're not on the same page. I'd like to end the session. Yeah. And hopefully that reader will understand that, and that they're in integrity, and they will say, I agree, then let's end it. And I have had people that have said, no, keep going. And I said, no, we're going to end it now, because by now we should know. And they said, well, you did make sense. I said, no, I just feel like because for whatever reason, like we're not making I know myself and I know how the information flows. And by now it should be a smoother flow of energy, because after the practice, that after practicing, it should be effortless, and it just comes without you thinking about it and overanalyzing it, and it could be exhausting. So 5 minutes, and some people just shouldn't be read at that time, whether they're grieving too much or they're more focused on one area, but spirit wants to talk about this area, and they're like, and then they have that block, and what that does is it starts closing down that psychic channel of information.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I've definitely had to do this, or you can see it in the person's face, and it's like, okay, let's just call it. You were looking, and so now I'm very specific with people before they come into the room what I do, because what I do is a little bit more coachy, and not that you guys don't coach when you have sessions and help them through things, but I'm just our focus is coachy.
It's a different type of reading. Yeah. So where it's I would say it's more like overall theme, right? Yeah. Rather than those details. It's different. It's just a different flavor.
I help people get through those layers of themselves and find their truth in the scenario, what energy is affecting right now. And so sometimes that's hard. I mean, I've had sometimes I do have to just say to the client, okay, let's just get open, honest, and as raw as you're comfortable with. And then everything flows. And then there's been other times where you're like, no. They wanted a psychic reading. They wanted to know, like, they wanted to hear everything and have no interaction with me whatsoever. And we kind of work together in my sessions, and you guys, sometimes that impedes you guys. I know, like Ashley, when she does readings, she's like, all right, only say yes or no. I know, I think somebody else used to be that way, but just say yes or no. And then at the end, I'll ask you a few questions or if you want to comment on things, but because she doesn't even want you to talk too much, So there's so many different ways and so some people prefer that. They don't want to share themselves.
They want to see, or they want to see what spirit brings through, and they can hear the messages from spirit. Yeah. But they're just different types of readings. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
the bottom line is everybody reads differently. There's a different style, and you'll be drawn to a certain person for a certain reason. Yeah. So that's why we have the bios on the website, so you can see whom you want to, like, who you resonate, what that feels like.
Yeah. And I will be honest, it feels much better for you as a working psychic to be able to say, like, I can tell that this is not resonating, rather than them saying it. I mean, because it's acknowledging the integrity of what it is that we all do for. And I remember my first psychic fair when I used to read cards, and I was like, I don't even know. It was a long, long time ago. And before I did the drawings and everything, and I had someone come in and they were like, I want to know who's slashing my tires. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I freaked out, and I was like, I'm never doing a psychic fair again. And Jenny Martin said to me, she's like, well, thank you for the age. I was like, I'm not going to do this right now in my life. And it was at the very beginning of my spiritual path. And Jenny was like, thank you for respecting the integrity of those of us and what we do, that have put in the time. And I was like, no, I'm fully aware I'm not ready for this yet. So, and it's okay to be able to say, I'm not ready too.
There's some serious stuff that comes through too, people who are grieving, people who want to know, is it going to be okay? People who don't have closure with situations, people who just have one thing after another that's just slamming them. Right. So you do have a responsibility to be in integrity with what you do and to be mindful of every word that comes out of your mouth. Right. And I've said it before, that people will take everything that you say a lot of times word for word, and they will remember everything, and they take that advice and what comes through to heart. So to the next part, we'll go into take time for yourself and know your limits, to honor the process, to be in alignment with what you know, and be clear with what it is you want to do, what you want to offer, and to be that light worker, that messenger of light and wisdom, and hold space for people's healing, and to not be flippant with advice and to just say and put your personal opinion in there, right? So that's not easy either when you are working with spirit and people's paths and with integrity, to keep that in check of knowing, hey, that's my ego, that's my belief system, which is not always easy. So that's a whole other thing too there. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
I know. Well, that's why when I said, I was like, well, I might want to add something. And she's like, oh my gosh, we could add so much. And I was like,
there's so much that could be added. Okay, so number 5, take time for yourself and know your limits. Psychic work is and can be draining. You are working with people who are experiencing tragedy, pain, guilt, and heartache. This can be emotionally and energetically draining if you do not keep healthy boundaries and if you do not take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself means receiving massages, taking time off, going for nature walks, eating healthy, and learning how to detach from your sessions. Know your limits. Know how many sessions you can do in a day, week, month. Overworking yourself can and will lead to burnout, exhaustion, and a compromised immune system, and not being able to make a clear connection with your higher guidance. It's that stuff that weighs you down. Many worry that if they say no to clients, that the clients will go to someone else and they won't come back. And that could happen. Well, it definitely could happen, and I'm sure it has happened. But there are many people seeking help, and there is more than enough to go around. Compromising your mental, physical, and just your mental and physical well-being is not worth it. Taking care of yourself should be your number 1 priority.
Yeah.
Know your limits.
So, and think of it as quality, not quantity. And what were you saying, that many worry that the clients will go to another practice?
They may.
This, we see this happen all the time. We have clients that go, they bounce back and forth, and And first of all, we don't care. There is no judgment. We always, each individual cycle will just trust in their own gifts and trust that like they know that there's going to be something that they do a little bit different. It might be a personality connection. It might be, you know, a faith connection. It may be whatever that is that person resonates back. They will come back exactly when they need to. And that's like the interesting thing. I feel like, especially the ones that they hear a different perspective. It's so unique. So sometimes it helps you when a client gets another perspective on the situation, because maybe it's something that, you know, keeps coming up for them or whatever. And so sometimes it's like two people reading the same material at the same time can see a completely different thing, you know, or will pick up on different keywords, you know, and so it's the same thing energetically. So always stay in a place of trust that when you're taking care of yourself, you're going to be giving everybody the best quality time with you when you are afforded to them. And that spirit's always going to respect that and provide during that. You know, you don't have to leave that space of trust, I think is so important.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I know we're running out of time, Sue. So number 6 is it takes time to build your clientele. This is something too that takes time. Just because you are ready to read everybody, I'm ready, I got my business cards, got my website up, I'm doing blogs, it doesn't mean that people are going to come flying through the door. You will build your clientele as you are ready energetically, emotionally, mentally, and psychically. It takes time to build a solid clientele. And ideally that the quality that you provide for people, they'll remember that. They'll come back to you and they will refer people. I mean, I do not advertise my readings. Over the years, I don't think I've ever really advertised them. And so it has built itself organically through referral and repeat business, and people just saying, hey, I'm connected to you. But to get started, yes, you may need to post on Facebook. You may need to write more blogs to get that energy out there. So it takes time. It's like also when people are, say, I'll go into massage therapist. They have their certificate and they're ready. And it takes a while to build that clientele. It just is what it is. It doesn't mean that the floodgates are open right away. You have that certificate or you're ready.
Yeah. You're starting your own business. And they say it takes about 3 years before you really start turning a profit. And if you start a business, I think that's that 3 to 5 years is when you really can start. My girlfriend's a hairdresser. It took her 3 years and now her book is completely full, but it took that 3 years. It didn't happen overnight. She had to take walk-ins. She had to make mistakes. She had to make, you know, have good things happen too, you know, and like I said, she's ready to sit down. It's almost the end of the season. She's like, oh my gosh.
It takes time.
Yeah.
All right. So there's some comments. So talk about giving. You two are just were awesome. Thank you, Melissa. So giving back and helping others. Absolutely. And thank you for tuning in. And this is why we do what we do, because to me it's so awesome to see the light bulbs go off and people to really love what they're doing. You can see their energy expanding. And if I can share what I've learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, the awesome, then it's worth it, because I know that one of my paths is to be a teacher and to share that and to experience and to share with others. And I'm learning and growing as I teach and as I share.
All right, Marnell has a question for you. So like in the beginning of using your gifts and giving a reading, did you feel really drained? It seems readings that are the most serious, like not a game or a card trick, drain the heck out of me. Will this reduce over time?
Yeah, over time, but learning how to keep those healthy boundaries. And that's where I wasn't able to go into this of kind of switching gears when you go into session mode, we'll call it. Session mode, where you clear the space, you say your intention, your prayer for the day, you ask for protection and the guidance to just keep you in the space and to have healthy boundaries with others. I think that a lot of times when we're drained, it's either we're doing too much or the person can be exhausting and they have a lot going on and they're actually pulling from your energy, not on purpose. And then sometimes we become emotionally invested in what's happening. And that takes practice and training to learn how not to go from here in that channel of energy to here emotional, empathically with the client. So it takes time, and with practice it will reduce the discomfort.
you know, and don't be afraid to ask your guides to come in and help you sever that cord or clear you, or however you want to word it, you know, whatever resonates with you. Because I know I sometimes ask and be like, oop, that's not mine. I'm still feeling it. Can you guys come help me? Oof. Remove it, because sometimes it's just while you're in that session, you don't realize you might connect a little bit stronger than what you initially. So as soon as you can catch the drain, ask your guides to come in and help you start shifting that out of your system, or do what you can to clear yourself. You know, go smudge. Just sometimes smelling the sage can help you regroup that. And it obviously it clears also, but just smelling it is like almost gives you that reset button, you know? So, and getting in the practice of those ritual type things will definitely.
Yeah, like washing your hands. Yeah. Just thank you. So when I'm done, I say thank you. Like I'll walk people up front. When I hang up, I'm like disconnected. Thank you for the connection, and then I let it go.
Perfect.
Yep, we have just a couple more minutes. If anybody else has a question, please type it in the online community. So as I said, it's
you guys want to hear me sing, right? It's a free show. You can listen to me sing all day.
All right, you don't have to pay good money for it. You're welcome, Arnell.
I'm sorry, I'm just being ridiculous. We're about to get the day started.
That's right. And I see there's Mary Rose. Good morning, Mary Rose. Mary Rose is an awesome reader. She has such a beautiful energy, and she's busy all the time. So Mary Rose is an example of being in that space, having wonderful messages for people and healthy boundaries. What's so funny?
I was like, if you want a medium who's not going to just sit there and bawl when they come in, she's actually going to convey messages, that's your girl.
I don't know. I've seen her get a little like sensitive. I don't know how else to put that, but people absolutely love her. And so Mary Rose is available for in-person readings here in Bonita, as well as with phone sessions. But again, she's going to be here Saturday for Psychic Fair. So I know her book is going to fill up like crazy. So be sure to call the front desk. Stephanie will be here today and tomorrow answering the phone. So you want to get in, as well as Jodi's going to be doing the crystal readings.
I am. Yeah.
That's right. So we have a...
Yes.
It'll be a fun, awesome day. Fair is always awesome.
Yeah.
Right, so it looks like everybody's pretty good for now.
Yay. I'm actually glad I'm going to get to see you.
That's right. You don't usually get to.
No, see her on Tuesdays.
That's right. So. And I did schedule a couple of readings on Tuesdays here and there, so I will work as well alongside Mary Rose once in a while here and there. In the near future. Awesome.
Dun, dun, dun. No, I'm sure. I don't know why that noise came out.
Ditto. Thank you. All right, everybody. So it looks like everybody feels pretty complete. They're good to go. Hopefully some of these things helped you, that we share some of these tips and some of the information that came through. Helps a little bit here and there. Just something to remember.
We would recommend it, Kelly, that you do call ahead for the readings.
We usually turn people away.
Yeah, but on that day, we start turning people away. So definitely call as soon as you know your schedule.
And also, there are a few other people who do facilitate readings here that have joined us as well. I know Robin does. I know, is it Kelly that does readings too? Kelly, do you do readings? I think you do, right? I think so.
Yeah, I think so. You know,
I can't remember.
We know you guys are all
intuitive.
Yeah.
And Jennifer. So. Yeah, there's quite a few of you here that do share messages. I'm forgetting. Hello, I'm in Psychic Kid. It's always good to blame that.
Yeah.
I'm in the zone, man. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. So bless it. Yes, she does. Okay, blessings. Namaste. We'll see you next week. Not sure about the topic yet, as usual, but we'll get there. All right, have a great week, everyone, and go enjoy yourselves and have fun practicing. Namaste.